Hey everybody, Frank from Velocity Money Mortgage. I am so excited to discuss with you the power and leverage of money, because half the thing with money is psychology, as we've discussed in the past, and half of it is understanding the right formulas to allow us to use it in the right way, right? It's the same thing as if we're a current homeowner and we have hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity in our home, and we consider that an asset. It really is not an asset until we use that equity for something else. Now, I'm not asking people to strip equity and create more debt for themselves. What I am saying is mortgage debt used wisely is good debt, meaning if I could say to you, let's take out 20% or 15% from your current residence and then put it into an investment property and then have somebody else pay off the loan for you, then what would happen is that becomes an asset because it's spitting off cash flow. Now this slide is very important, so listen closely, because this will give us the core components of how we use the power and leverage of real estate. Because oftentimes people just think about what they hear from financial planners, which is dollar for dollar. Let's go to the videotape. Here's the example. An apples to apples comparison of real estate versus investing with a financial planner. If we put $200,000 with a financial planner and that money earns 5%, that's $10,000 a year gain. So 200,000 earns 5%, it's 10,000 a year. Now imagine if we put $200,000 into real estate, we would actually be buying $1 million or $1.1 million worth of real estate. But let's just say we buy $1 million worth of real estate. If real estate goes up 5% in value, it's based on the million, not the down payment, not the 200,000 we put into it. That real estate grows at 50,000 a year. Same exact 200,000, much different result. It's a $5,000 gain versus a $50,000 gain, same money. Now here's the crazy part. Imagine if you had $1 million to put down on real estate, you could then buy $5 million worth of real estate and a 5% return, it equals $250,000. That's the power of real estate. Let me go over that one more time, because I'm also then going to talk to you about the principles of how we acquire real estate and how to not make mistakes. Once again, $200,000 worth of investments with a financial planner at 5% return gets us $10,000 a year. Great. But $200,000 buys us $1 million worth of real estate or more, and then at 5% return on that real estate, the real estate goes up $50,000. If you add to that the Power 4, which we've talked about in previous sessions, which is how to not make mistakes on real estate, because it's the analyzation tool for how to make sure we have the proper cash flow, then we're spending our money and we're getting a guaranteed rate of return, because we make sure we have a guaranteed rate of return before we buy it, okay? So the Power 4 teaches us what piece of real estate to buy and what piece of real estate not to buy, okay? Then you have a few other components. You have depreciation, which is a tax strategy that writes off against gain in cash flow. So you can depreciate a property 1/27th a year for 27 years. So your first 18 or 20,000 in cash flow, if you depreciate it, you pay no tax to the IRS. Magic. Then a bonus is appreciation, which will happen, but it's not the premise, it's the bonus. So one more thing with the power and leverage of money, there's something called self-directed IRAs. Now this goes back into what I was saying in the apples to apples comparison. We could take money in an IRA, let's say it's the same 200,000. We could buy real estate inside the IRA, meaning we could take 200,000, we could buy $1 million worth of real estate. The IRA now has the real estate inside of it. And as we have cash flow, say it's 15,000 a year, 20,000 a year, 50,000 a year in cash flow, we leave it in the IRA and the money grows tax-free. Now the catch to this whole thing is that you can't, it's the same thing as any other IRA. You can't take money out of the IRA and use it. Like you can't take the cash flow and say, oh great, it's making 50,000 a year, I'm gonna use that as income. You have to leave the money in the IRA. Now, if you have other real estate that you're selling and you follow the rules of the IRA, you could put money in the IRA, buy real estate with it, and grow it tax-free. So these are some huge strategies. Number one, the power and leverage and apples to apples comparison of what real estate does for us. It's getting real estate for us at 80 cents on the dollar, meaning we put 20% down, the bank gives us the rest. If you're a first-time home buyer, sometimes it's 96.5% or 96.5 cents on the dollar or 95 cents on the dollar because we can borrow the rest, especially if we buy it owner-occupied and then turn it into an investment, okay? We have pulling equity out of our home to buy more real estate, which I teach at my coaching course. And then there's, of course, the Power of Four, which is the premise of all real estate. And a bonus session is what they call self-directed IRA. The self-directed IRA allows us to roll the money and just let it grow inside that IRA. So imagine you worked at a company, New York Life, you got laid off at 55 years old, there's 300 or 400 grand sitting in a 401k or more. You turn that into an IRA, we buy some real estate in that IRA with 300 or 400,000, I could buy $1 million or $2 million worth of real estate. That real estate spits off cash flow. Now it's making 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 a year that we're adding to our retirement while we go get another job. We start a new 401k, we throw money in that for 10 years, and now we're doubling, tripling, or quadrupling the money in our self-directed IRA because we bought real estate inside of it. All of these are tools and methods that I teach my people, but it starts with a first-time home buyer. So whether you're a first-time home buyer, a current homeowner, a real estate investor, or you have some money in a 401k, I believe and I know that real estate's the way to go. I've talked about this before, but here's my last question. Is real estate an asset or a liability? It's an asset if it spits off income. It's a liability if you have to go to work to pay your bills. So you or many people in America are probably doing well enough to buy real estate, own real estate, and parlay that into future real estate. But I can help you think strategically and use the apples to apples comparison to use our money wisely. Now, if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of money saved and you maybe have dinged up credit, we can help you get started because there are grant programs. There is 3.5% down. There's something called a seller concession for closing costs where you don't pay closing costs, you roll them into the loan. And oh, by the way, if you're a real estate agent, you can use your commissions towards the down payment. So there's ways to buy real estate in America, guys. You're not stuck. I can help you. The worst case scenario, you have no job, bad credit, and no money. Get a job, we'll figure that out. Get your credit fixed, start saving money. But if you have a solid job, you can get a grant program and get into your first home. But I can help people use money wisely to create enough leverage to be a millionaire and have that paid off in 15 years or less. So thank you everybody for listening. God bless. See you all soon.